Boom! Champions League. Chelsea for them making a very, very huge step for a run. Our Champions League game, we're known at Chelsea for them now. What a good one, Charlie. Hi, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So, when subscribing to the channel and subscribe to the channel, so you're new to the channel. Thank you very much for choosing us. You're one of the best in terms of football, tactical, pre-match, post-match analysis. It is your best in analysis in terms of football, and it's the big conversation of Champions League and Chelsea and the Manchester United game and the 1-0 in favor of Chelsea. All of the issues around it. I remember say a couple of weeks ago, I brought sa fixture list to a buyer. Now Chelsea games na Chelsea was some really tricky matches. Now go focus how are Chelsea going to navigate this match and then get the win, because matches now kind of more thing. It was games against Newcastle, games against Liverpool, games against Manchester United. In fact, everybody, all of the top games were there. So I'll come back and only the last 5 games and Chelsea for to play. The games now on my Chelsea had to go in a run of Tima. Their friend, they had to first play in the Conference League. Everton, Fulham, Ipswich Town, Brentford. Before that, Chelsea 1-0. LUC against Arsenal, Kosha against Tottenham, Kobo draw against Brentford, draw against Ipswich Town, won against, I think that the turning point was that game against Fulham, and Chelsea went at home and then beat Everton, went beat on against Team Friend in Liverpool, got the loss against Team Friend Newcastle United, and then a very, very important home win against Team your friend Manchester United. Chelsea knew say Man United game no na enyadia eba be easy craft for them. It was not going to be easy. It was going to be a very, very tough one from Chelsea for them, and they went into the game open. So made a success nana and on the day all of the boys did a very, very good job in terms of getting the results in fact, I think for Chelsea, okay, starting lineup now. A lot of the people were asking questions about Enzo Maresca. Say Argentina in a very, very important game. Enzo Maresca, I drop your brand here friend and Trevor Chalobah on Nuakofa, a brand here friend Tosin Adelabiayo. But he was justified. Enzo Maresca went into this game knowing said so we need all of the aerial duels against a brand here, your friend Rasmus Højlund. Again, Chelsea were going into this one knowing said they had dropped maximum points against Newcastle and also don't have a number 1 starting center forward in our brand here friend Nicholas Jackson. Now, in the lead up to this game, Nia didn't come out about the possibility of Manchester United on behalf of Chelsea. Now, the number of wins away and home in a pet, draws near a pet, and Chelsea in the team and here be free game. They had to go in and win. And Mechanic several times said, so Champions League maybe you win your matches. Or share against Man United. Or share against subs. In fact, if Chelsea had gotten just a draw against Newcastle, like I was saying last week, this would have been a done deal. This obviously would have been a done deal. What it would have meant, and they said, in the game against Team Friend Nottingham Forest, just avoid a defeat and you are in the Champions League. Very, very important stuff. And I say Chelsea for the team here. But of course, it hasn't been happening. Nottingham Forest won an important game against Team Friend West Ham United, and Chelsea would have to find a way they will stay in the game as long as possible. Hopefully, Nottingham Forest won't drop a point to Onoma. It's going to give Chelsea for a very, very good advantage going into this one. A very, very important one for Chelsea for because this was a game that they wanted to play. I don't think that in such games it's about tactics. For me, Usha first half, Nana Chelsea for no Jichi, Omi are worried, very important game for them. Against the Manchester United team that doesn't have anything to lose. How are they Chelsea for no going to stay in the game as long as possible and not make mistakes into share? And Chelsea for no a little bit jittery when they were playing the match now, especially in the first half. But in the second half, they kept on growing into it. Now Chelsea for an air building momentum from how they wanted to play, and then all of a sudden started creating some quality chances, started playing well, and then of course openings began to come in. The team began to grow in confidence over there for Fiifi-Manfred Chelsea Football Club. And I like the starting lineup of Enzo Fernandez, then Enzo Maresca. The very first game at Reece James, I started, ending a very, very long time as captain, and was very, very instrumental, setting up that goal for our branch friend Marco Correa in the 71st minute. And again, Enzo Maresca is a top manager. I've done it several times. He is the guy that will take Chelsea to wherever they have to go to. When Chelsea are in difficult positions and times, how Enzo Maresca are finding solutions to it. And for me, a top level stuff. Allowing Enzo Fernandez and Marco Correa to arrive in the box as the final box crashes now has been the season-defining moment for Chelsea all throughout the season. And again, it happened for them over there. Giving how a Chelsea for a bomb. It was always going to be dependent on that. It was always going to be a game at Chelsea will need an extra man in the box, because like I've mentioned, Chelsea for any Obia or center forward or goes number, because obviously now Brantia Nicholas Jackson in the Honor. So who was going to be the fox in the box? One of the goals in the Beba, one about attack Bono or Honor Nioma a little bit difficult for Chelsea. It was always going to be a difficult one. But again, there you go. My brand your friend Marco Correa attacking box now, and then getting the job done, playing very, very well, and then making sure that Chelsea for, of course, for Manchester United, not a match. Almost Chelsea ever qualify for Champions League, a woman with so there be almost Chelsea for qualify for Champions League, a woman with so it was a game where not Thomas Tuchel our park, and so in fact a lot of very, very important players were on the park, and Chelsea for were hoping that they can go into the game and then make sure they'll get a job done. Reece James was super, and I think that it was a job very, very well done from our brand friend Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, and in the family, and also when the game was going on, you could tell that they wanted to make sure that they get a job done. I mean, super football for them. Maybe a Manchester United that this season, very, very bad. I mean, given the pedigree of Manchester United and the kind of football that they have been playing, the kind of club, I mean, I was very, very surprised that Manchester United for that baby or that, and then with the kind of football and I expect United from beat team. But all in all, Manchester United, Chelsea players were super. From Robert Sanchez, the final save, from Amad Diallo at the tail end of the game. Reece James, captain, very, very good display, led by example. Tosin Adrebia, solid, won almost every real duel against our branch friend Rasmus Højlund. Levi Cole, good one again. I mean, very physical, very combative, shuffling very well on the left-hand side. So Marco Correa, and you give the team a lot of credit. Again, it was a gamer because Manchester United were playing with a back line of 5. What Enzo Maresca decided to do, and said, Marco Correa ain't inverted, but Marco Correa is an extra fullback. So she and Marco Correa an extra fullback to keep the width and then push a branch friend in Noni Madueke, Marco Correa into the house space, Noni Madueke keeping the width, and about United for a line of 5, with Chelsea beating my stretch with Cole Palmer receiving the ball right in front of United for a block now on him, and it was a good one. If Nkaya Conte and I said Thomas Tuchel on the touchline and then Maresca, the narrative would have been how was a lockdown defensive performance. United had just 5 shots the whole game, just 1 on target. Chelsea have a final today, and the best way to win finals is by making them boring. That's exactly what a lot of people are talking about, because at the end of the day, Enzo Maresca knew that he had to make sure the game would be boring and then make sure they get the most important thing. Maresca approaches big games the right way by keeping it extremely compact. Big games being end-to-end are great for the fans, but a bad sign of coaching. With the exception of the 4-3 win versus Spurs, we have not had a single chaotic big game. It's all controlled. Doesn't matter how bad United or Spurs are, they will always be big games. The stakes will always be high. We didn't take the bait of arrogance against them, against either team, and approached it professionally, kept it boring, took our chances, and then got full points. That's the most important thing. And I think that Moise Caicedo and our branch friend Marco Correa, top respect from almost every Chelsea fan who we are seeing, and affection from everybody. A season of ups and downs, but these guys have been very consistent for Chelsea. Marco Correa, Moise Caicedo, commitment. Enzo Fernandez. These guys have been super important for Chelsea for, and then you give them a lot of credit over there for the games at course one. Under a lot of pressure, Chelsea needed to deliver. And boys, no, come on, it's under a lot of pressure, intense. Reece James stepped onto the plate and delivered quality. Kukurea stepped out to the clutch cool. How many times have we seen that this season? Love how the quality has just spawned from nowhere. Cole was eating all challenges, tossing to, and the team had some nerves, but did it. Proud, of course. I think that if you're a Chelsea fan, you have to celebrate it. You have to celebrate it. Moment Estrella. Now, I'm not finding Jamal Honor because, of course, my brand here, your friend, Chelsea players, Marco Correa has done an excellent job. You want the front three to offer more shots, simple. Move Neto up front, move Tyree to the left, and then Noni to the right. Let them cut inside. Show Mazraoui and United are vulnerable underbelly. Of course, but Enzo Maresca, what he wanted to do was to keep the ball as long as possible and control the game over there. So that's what Chelsea for. And Noni to Palmer, and a big shot, brilliant Palmer. In the first half, it wasn't the best of performances, but Chelsea needed to make sure that Ombeya Jumane or against Tima, your friend, Manchester United in a big Champions League game. And now almost everybody, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, will be excited of the game that Chelsea for and then the quality of game that came up. Everybody excited. Moises Caicedo, another quality display. Later in the game, Enzo Maresca, Eddie Albranti, friend Romeo Lavia by to come and manage the game. Romeo Lavia be very important against Nottingham Forest. Very important against Nottingham Forest, where we need a lot of quality and control our park in Fifi, because Nottingham Forest will come and attack, they'll be aggressive. Umbe tries to pour a lot of men for it. What Chelsea has to do is to make sure that they will hold on to the ball, calm down, and stay in the game as long as possible. I think their quality will tell. And at the end of the day, Chelsea Beshet, and they will get the Champions League qualification in a very tense one. Of course, for Manchester United, the focus should go back to the Conference League, and then see how things will turn out from there. But this is a game at Chelsea for needed it. They needed a win. They needed to make sure that they'll go through it successfully and make sure that everything goes on well. At the end of the day, that's what Chelsea needed. And over here, it has been a very good one for them. And it's been very successful for Chelsea Football Club, given how well they've been playing and then qualifying to go and play in the Champions League. Very important. Chelsea for them. Ebe said you want to send a baby come on more next season. Not Chelsea for them. Caicedo had a knock to his cheek, so has had a max fitted and is wearing it against Manchester United. Not seen as anything substantial. Almost here just protection over there for Abrantia, your friend Moises Caicedo over there. Right back assisting left back while Thomas Tuchel is watching at the bridge. Of course, typical wing back to wing back goal from Abrantia, your friend Thomas Tuchel, and how he wants to play. Very good stuff from Thomas Tuchel. And in Abrantia, Wayebi Pen. A lot of times they will give him Chelsea for them wanted to get a job done. They needed that quality under Thomas Tuchel and Abrantia, friend Thomas Tuchel. Big delivery with Sane. They were not in the fullbacks, and that's exactly what has happened. That was a beautiful goal from Abrantia, your friend Marco Correa, and the Chelsea boys in making sure that they finish up the job and then Chelsea for them. I am Wajuma. It has been some very good stuff about Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So I want to subscribe to the channel now. I think you subscribe, turn on notification. We'll come back to you. It's a lot more analysis. I'm not. So then.